I'm going to call the Exeter Township Planning Commission meeting for July 21st, 2025 to order. Please rise for the pledge to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. You want to do roll call?
Usually does.
Good. You know what? I didn't get my pen out. Bear with me a second, please.
I can do it if you need me to.
What's that?
I can do it if you need me to.
Can't hear you.
I can do it if you need me to.
No, I can do it. Okay, Glenn Powell's the chairman. He will be here later, and I will turn the meeting over to him when he arrives. Jeff Whitman, I'm here. Eric Mounts.
Here.
Darren O'Donnell.
Present.
Lester Toez?
So,
Toso?
here.
Thank you. Jordan Wegman.
Here.
And Mitch Zimmer.
Here.
Everybody's present except for Glenn. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Les, a
Second.
second by Mitch. Any discussion? No discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any opposed? Passes 5-0. Excuse me, 6-0.
I knew what you meant.
We allow public comments, so if anybody has a public comment, they can wait till their subject comes up, or they can talk at the beginning of the meeting. Anybody, I don't have the sign-up sheet. I'll
Get it for you.
I noticed that he signed up, yeah. I don't know when he wants to talk.
I can wait when his time is up.
Okay, okay. Approvals. We're going to need a motion to approve the minutes of June 16th, 2025. I, however, have one comment. I would like it to say that Glenn took over the meeting at 6:22. That's the only change I would like to have.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with that revision.
I have a motion to approve the minutes with revised.
I'll second it.
Les will second it. Any discussion? Having no discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, 6-0. New business. 5700 Boyertown Pike well isolation distance waiver. Discussion and possible action on well isolation distance waiver. Now, I know that Ashley handed out a handout, which I only had a couple minutes to read, but do you want to say something first?
Well, I guess just to answer any generic questions that you might have. I think
Wanted to
it's
come
like
up?
90% of my job is just explaining how septic systems work.
Well-
So does everybody kind of have the CD on septics?
I looked at your drawings, and I don't see where the current septic system is at, where the current well is at, where the new septic system is going in. Because I see a lot of circles, but I don't see,
This is all the existing.
hold on, let me open it up on my side.
That's also where we're gonna put the new tanks.
So when you say existing, you're saying tank plus leaching field or distribution in whatever way it's done, or?
Cesspool plus mystery hole.
Say what?
Is that a technical term?
That's why we're there testing for new systems.
That's what's currently there.
That's what's currently happening, yeah. I attached the inspector's report.
So it's currently an antiquated,
Yeah.
failing system.
Yeah. I mean, right now the home's vacant, so there's no malfunction. Actually, when the house was occupied, there wasn't a technical malfunction, but there was an unsatisfactory inspection report saying that, you know, should a family come in and operate the system as one would think a family would use their home, there's room for concern on the function of the system.
So the last people staying at it, everything worked,
Out of sight, out of mind. It went into.
wet area on the side of the house?
No wet area.
Oh, no, okay.
Right, that's the mystery hole. They measured it at about 40 feet deep, and that's when they stopped measuring. Septic tank, drain pipe, drain pipe.
So there's no drainage field?
Correct. The hole extends more than 43 feet deep.
So it's basically a an existing cesspool.
This hole is after the cesspool.
Okay. Interesting.
I guess mystery hole is a technical term. Yeah, I mean, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
It's not malfunctioning, so nobody's gonna knock on their door and complain. The existing owners are trying to make it right before they sell the property.
So you're putting another system on top of that?
So the tanks will go in the same area because that's where everything exits the house. So
Okay.
that- There's also a limited amount of space between the house and the road.
Yes.
So that just alleviates replumbing the entire basement.
Understand.
Elsewhere.
Where's the well at?
The well is right here, existing well. And then this is where, all these triangles are where we tested for the absorption. Actually, this is the space that's available to test. So the triangles are test pits, and then our perk holes were done in this area here. This rectangle is the proposed absorption area.
What kind of footage do you have from the proposed to the well then?
It's 15 feet. Yeah, it's not much. Yeah.
be
We
drinking
can't move the
bottled water.
absorption area anywhere down here, because this is an existing well curve for the neighbor. I believe this property came in for a variance, and they were denied the variance because they have other room on their property to move the well. So they had to relocate their well to.
You ready?
I can move it up for you.
Yeah. But, yeah, okay, so this is where they had to relocate their well, and then their septic, I believe, is up here on the hill.
He plugged it in and
Okay.
You ready to take over?
Yeah, it's not much.
Put it.
Unfortunately, it doesn't matter where we put a well on this property, we're never gonna be 100 feet away from the septic.
Yeah, but 15 feet is awfully close.
You know, it is, and I asked for, that's why I attached the quote for the UV light. That UV light is the same UV light they would use if the well was 50 feet or 75 feet or 100 feet.
So it's currently 15 feet.
It's currently about 50. Maybe, no, I think it was like 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Chair Glenn Powell. 6:05.
That was my biggest question. When I call and ask for UV treatment, they ask what size the house is to get the flow per day, not how far away the well is. So if you're treating a well, you're treating a well.
Do they ask number of people, or is it,
So well flows, your water usage, both in and out, is the same calculation. It's gallons per day based on the bedrooms. So 3-bedroom house, which is what this is, we would use 400 gallons per day.
yeah, that's just, there's no correlation between bedrooms and houses.
Between what?
There's no correlation between bedrooms in houses and use, because one of those bedrooms could be an office, or one of those bedrooms could have 4
Right.
bunk beds being rented out every week.
Right.
Just a silly way to correlate.
I think it's an average.
Yeah.
I think it's the best they can do to give us all guidelines.
It is what it
But there's different, like, if you were
What-
gonna use the bedrooms for all offices, there's different
what are you gonna do?
calculations for that.
Where are you gonna put it?
Like, we no longer treat it as a house, we treat it as an office and use like estimated daily use calculations.
Do you have any idea how deep that well is?
I don't,
Well, we're going to need to know that.
That's gonna,
yeah.
I'm no engineer, but that definitely would help if it's a deep well.
Yeah, I don't know the agent, they didn't, do a well inspection. I know it was tested for flow, but not as far as depth.
It would help to know the depth and if the well is, what the casing depth is of the well.
Also, the direction of the flow.
And the leaching area, is that just a leaching area with pipes under it, or is it a mound?
It's an at-grade bed, which is an above-ground system, but it's not the traditional sand mound. So it'll be about 18 inches high. It's 10 inches of stone. Within your 10 inches of stone is the 2-inch pressurized pipes, your pressurized lines, and then 8 inches of soil on top.
And you're scarifying the ground for it to leach down.
Yep.
Right to the water well?
Did you say direction of flow?
Yes.
Okay. I'm the septic person, so I work side by side with wells.
What does the UV light kill? Let's say the best word. What does it, what bacteria or biologicals? Because I'm worried more, I understand that UV light is used even in the government to sanitize water from those biometric, the biologicals. But it doesn't do anything for, as far as I know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, cleaners, household cleaners that could get in the sewer system, medicines
This is for the well, right?
No, no,
that could
You're
get,
talking UV for your well, correct?
it's instead of
Well, so
chlorine.
what it's doing is, it's.
I understand that, but we're talking about sewage getting into the well. That's what we're talking about here.
So
Okay.
you're worried about cleaning materials getting into the well?
He's worried about everything except, I can read you the list that this UV light provides. And
Well,
that's on
yes,
the
please.
first page of this form. And apologies in advance for the pronunciation. Cryptosporidium,
Iridium,
yeah,
Giardia,
There you go.
pathogenic E. coli,
I was gonna say,
Campylobacter, Legionella, Salmonella, Shigella, which I may have wrong, norovirus, enterovirus, and hepatitis A virus.
So it's all biologics, but it doesn't
Just
have,
like your chlorine. I mean,
Yeah.
you're purifying
Well-
the water, you're,
when I'm worried about cleaning solutions. When you clean your toilet, you flush it, guess what? All that goes into your sewer.
Yeah.
And that can leach into your well. If you're 15 feet away, that is so close. That's what I'm worried about. That's what I'm really, really worried about.
yeah. So the septic tanks are a form of true treatment that hopefully some of those solids get left behind. This system will also
oh,
have.
it will get the solids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. This one also has an aerobic treatment, which will help break that down a little further. But yeah, it's a reasonable concern. As far as the state guidelines go, when we typically have to request a waiver, it usually is simply the UV light. Homeowners will also add to that, but again, this isn't something that's required of them, but I do see homeowners will add like a reverse osmosis to at least to under the kitchen sink to help purify the water further.
here, we live, yeah.
How far away is the nearest municipal sewer line and water line?
Nowhere close,
Are there any, nowhere?
nowhere close.
Okay.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, I think somebody said the elementary school, which I think was like
Which
2
isn't-
miles now.
Wadden, yeah.
About a
Yeah.
mile.
I called American Water before I even scheduled testing. The homeowner called before they even called me to schedule testing. And then just recently, I have called to ask if they have a map available. I'm waiting for,
Yeah, it doesn't come out that.
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not hopeful that they'll call me with a map, but I put the request in.
Just in general, to understand the request, the picture shows, and I think you mentioned the house is for sale. Is this a requirement of the sale of the house to fix the septic?
Well, no, they could sell it as is. But it does limit the amount of people that are able, again, I'm not a banker, these are the issues I see with septic systems. There are certain loans that will not, grant a loan if you have an unsatisfactory inspection report.
I'm not a real estate agent, but when you do sell a house, there are certain requirements that have to be done
electrical and so forth that you can't you can't sell a house as is without fixing certain mechanicals and so forth. So I'm not sure if this falls in that same list. I've experienced that already in me personally, where certain things have to be fixed, no matter if you sell the house as is or not.
And that was my question. If it's going to not pass inspection and would become unsellable, they have to do something. So now it comes down to what's the best solution, knowing you have to work within the confines of the property.
Right.
I mean, I guess my only question is, I'm not recommending this or suggesting this, but the only alternative is you're not going to meet the 100 feet. It would be keep it where it is and move the well to the farthest location you possibly could get is really the only other alternative, correct?
Yeah.
Which would still require a waiver.
Which would still be a waiver.
Waiver,
correct?
because you're going to be in another envelope.
The dimensions on there,
For the
I can pull them up.
absorption
No, just the actual property dimensions.
area, I gotta tell you, this was the first time I used this surveyor. And what is on this map, I feel like was pulled.
It might have them here.
Sorry. if anybody's associated with
I think it does have them.
it. Oh, yeah.
It's on here.
Thank you. It was not you.
No, they're on here.
Okay, it was a lot. But yeah, my hand-drawn sketch has more measurements on it.
I think I have that one.
Yeah, we all have a copy.
Okay.
Just have to find it.
The dimensions?
Yeah.
They're on
This
here.
is,
Okay.
I just zoomed in.
Okay.
So it's 174 feet on that long leg on the right.
I have a question for you, Ashley. I know you guys have done extensive testing because the property literally looks like a war zone. You guys were digging holes everywhere. So I know you guys were out there and exhausting all options, right? If say that, your waiver isn't granted, what are their options? Like, what happens? I'm just curious. So say the waiver isn't granted, what do they do?
I don't know. That's
Okay.
up to them. They can either, like we said, try and sell it as it is to the cheapest buyer and.
Can you get a waiver with DEP for a holding tank that gets pumped?
So.
We don't want holding.
I know that's extreme cases, but
yeah,
I've seen
and
that.
that's what we're here avoiding.
Okay.
We're
Did you say
here to
holding
try
tank?
and-
Yeah,
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 you can,
yeah.
not
It has to be
holding
pumped.
tank.
That might
Yeah.
still be a better option.
I agree.
I'd still like to know if they put the well in that corner and we give them variance to put it in that corner,
Back
what
here?
else is around there? Like the other properties,
The
they
other
have
sewage
this,
systems.
the other, the
So-
apartments are right there?
Yeah, so wherever, their system is I believe it's behind the house. We've been doing this since March, so I'm trying to refresh my memory here.
So it might be
Um,
close.
Yes, yeah. Actually, yeah, all these houses in here are within there, yeah.
Except
This one's
front.
not, because they had to move theirs and across the street.
I was gonna say the corner, probably your best spot would be up at the corner in
Up
front of
here?
that. Yes.
So I attached a
For a new
picture
well.
of the front of the house, mainly just so you can kind of see what we're working with. There's between, one side has 20 feet and the other side has 30 feet.
Sorry, I
to
was,
the road.
see if we could get an aerial.
Yeah, I was okay with the aerial. I was
You want
gonna get my it doesn't matter.
I mean, you could probably almost be 75, you could almost be 75 feet away or probably better in the front yard there.
And I have the ability to measure.
Can you zoom in a little
Is that the
more?
right?
It's gonna get blurry if I zoom in, but Boyertown Pike is obviously in the front, so
Where's Chauffeur Road?
it would be over.
You gotta go up.
Okay, okay.
You gotta go left, I think.
This is the front of the property, this photo.
Right. It's very,
Yeah,
very tight.
It's, because that was one of our thought processes that we went through too,
Not on the
was
screen.
putting the well in the front yard. Getting those boring trucks on, I think will
What's that?
be
Know where you
partially or fully shutting down Boyertown Pike.
Yeah, it would be.
Which is a huge inconvenience for all of you, not just the property owners. There's the power lines overhead to contend with, the tree that has to come down. I hate taking trees down if I don't have to. I like to leave them. But that tree would have to come down, overhead wires to contend with, and then shutting down the road to put a well in the front yard to end up with the same treatment system with their.
just farther away.
But it's not,
It's further away, but I'm still, like,
yeah, that's the point. It's not the treatment system. It's
Yeah.
how far you are away from the treatment system with that well.
Yeah.
But again, we don't have the information on the current well, to how deep it is and which way the water's flowing, and he said the casement.
Yeah, just as an example, if that well, let's just say hypothetically, if that well was 300-plus feet deep and it was cased down the bedrock, probably not as much of a concern as if it's a 100-foot deep well. I mean, that would certainly, having that information would help me make a better informed decision.
okay.
Do any of you who do the construction know the rock? I mean,
It's
I
all
know
red,
what you-
it's red shale out there, mostly.
It's in the report.
Was it mostly red? Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the report.
When we did the test fits, it was.
And that doesn't leach very well. It just absorbs.
That's good if you.
That actually is a good thing
Isn't that
for what we're trying to do here.
So I'm going to make a motion to table this until she can come back with more information.
So I have the homeowners do a well inspection and get more information on the well?
So I have a motion to get more information as requested.
Jason, this isn't scheduled already.
No, it's not. I did not put it on the in front of the Board of Supervisors until I seen how this discussion went.
I mean, we can also not make any recommendation.
Well, I do have a motion on the floor to table it until we have more information.
I'll second it.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we'll table it until we can get more information. The additional information so that she can come back with the proper stuff would be depth of well, depth of casing of the well, what other information?
Water flow.
Direction of flow
Well-
and
Yep, direction
then
of flow.
cleaning product questions.
And is there any other information anyone would like to see, just
Well-
so they can come back one time and,
It's not just the cleaning, it's what the UV light will handle. Because if there's cleaning solutions being dumped, if there's medications being dumped, that can reach back into the well.
Right, it also wreaks havoc on the septic, so we deter homeowners from using excessive.
Yeah, but we don't know who the homeowner's going to be at this time.
Right, I guess I would also want you to consider that if they decide to just sell the property as is, this is not a malfunction. So there are no complaints on the property. There's nothing visibly, other than we have testing holes all over the place. There are no complaints on the property, and it doesn't leak anywhere or go to anything that you can.
just keep on using it.
They're trying to do the right thing before they sell the house and make it right for the next homeowners.
Do you know if the homeowners had their well tested?
That's what they did not do, I know they did the flow test.
I mean, tested for
But they
bacteria,
didn't,
and
right.
there's standard testing that
And
usually.
that would actually be a question for you guys at one point, because, like I said, the neighbors were both in here seeking variances. Now, they were denied because they had larger parcels where they could move septic and well, they had more flexibility. Did they have any testing done, like, in this area in general? I guess I would ask you, because you're more familiar with.
Hey, Joe, at this time, with nobody living in the home, it's not going to be too good of a test.
No, I just wondered if there was a history back then, if they tested their, usually you have a well, you want to test your drinking water periodically for contamination or any other thing, send it off to a lab.
Oh, I agree.
They might not have that information if this was a possible flip situation.
True, yeah. And if it was, a lot of times, they'll put a depth finder down there in the casing, they can, until it hits water, they can give you a depth of how far down to your groundwater level. Sometimes they'll purge them and then see how quickly it recharges.
Joe, I don't know if this is a question for you, but I think when we talk about alternatives, it's leave it as is or potentially relocate the well, I think, is what we're talking about. Measuring on the plan, it looks like if they went to the southeast corner of the property, regardless if it creates other issues, you could move it about 35 feet the way it looks from where it is now to the corner. Is there a difference between, as far as potential risk, between 15 and 50? And I don't know the answer to that.
Probably the same aquifer, but.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're talking about the leaching down through the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I think the concern is how
definitely
close
further-
it is, and I
further
guess
back.
my question is just conceptually, is there any difference between 15 and 50, even if you could move the well?
Like I said, when I try and get treatment systems for it, they're treated the same way. And that's whether it's 99 feet or in the field.
Pro-
Yeah, the difference between those on that packet I gave you is the flow. So the price that I was quoted for was for a, like the lesser pump, the V200, I think it is. I'm saying pump, but it's UV light, I'm sorry.
The problem with UV is if an
Yeah, the
homeowner.
VH200, that would be the correct size for this home. They quoted the 410 to protect against increased flows. That's what they typically install.
Is in front of you, in the middle of that circle, it says existing well? Yep.
That's the neighbors.
Is the neighbor's house there?
Pretty stinking close, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Where is the neighbor's house? I don't see it.
Her hand sketch is much better.
It does show it on the hand sketch.
It's to scale, but I do have a lot of information. Believe it or not, I sent him my hand sketch.
Yeah, they have, it's number 3 on all of your,
You can look at the,
I tried to open it on mine.
look at the photo in
Right
that
along there,
package.
pretty close together.
So, I came in a little bit late, but just a question again, sorry, I apologize.
I'm sorry, it's
Redundant
number 4.
question, is, the property owner now, had they lived in that house, or is this a
Flip.
flip? Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So the other thing with the request for information is, I'd like to see some options for, I think, relocation of the well, if that's possible, relative to what may be on the other properties. I.e., you still have to keep the isolation distance
Right.
from other septic systems.
Yeah. The only one that would be concerned would be the 5706. I believe their septic is behind the house. Again, within their 100-foot well curve. But,
But it's not really where the tank is, it's where the leaching.
Yeah, it's where the leach
Or
field.
Yeah,
whatever
that's a
distribution method they
cesspool.
have.
But there's a leach field usually with a cesspool.
not always. Typically, but not always. When I talked to this homeowner, he seemed to think it was just a cesspool.
Old school.
Are those legal?
I would
They're
like,
not legal
But a lot
anymore.
of these homes are older and they
But again,
still work.
if there is potentially an option to move the well back to the back corner of the property,
Very rare.
you're increasing, again, that distance maybe by approximately to 50 feet.
I also like Joe's idea of a holding tank. I'm sorry, having a holding tank that gets pumped.
So holding tanks, yeah, they do have to get pumped regularly. Those typically become more of a burden to the township should they become uncared for.
We do an agreement, a holding tank agreement, and escrow a dollar amount in case the homeowner neglects to maintain it. Township has the money to step in and do it. You know, most of the time, you're stepping in, you're a little, after the fact, becomes a problem. But holding tanks aren't great either, but
They're not great, and from a sewage enforcement officer perspective and from DEP, we do everything we can to not do holding tanks. Because should they malfunction, that is far worse than having an absorption area in an approved area.
I will just, I know the motion already and everything passed. I spoke with our SEO on this topic, and they did give a letter recommending it, only because they didn't see another option, and they felt it was better than a holding tank.
Again, from
Thank-
DEP
thank you.
perspective, we do everything we can to avoid holding tanks. Yeah, and to safely mitigate septic and drinking water.
Again, just, would like to see it explored a little more thoroughly with the option of moving, not moving, but drilling a new well that's further away.
Yeah, I think this would be our only option. But then I'd have to check. This may go into the, I'm going out on a limb, and I am hoping that whoever installed this well did their due diligence, and this well curve doesn't hit their cesspool, because their cesspool is in the backyard. So hopefully, when they did this, that was taken into consideration. But yeah, this would be pretty sticking close. Yeah.
So it may be the well's already got a problem. Just not.
This well?
Yeah.
I hope, like I said, I hope not. It's new. So I hope that they did their homework, but it's probably pretty close to over there.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for us?
I guess I would just say the comment would be that I don't do this often, and this is kind of a Hail Mary. We do everything we can to not put in holding tanks. Like I said, they become more of a burden. And that these homeowners are trying to do the right thing and not just leave a mystery hole, for lack of a better word, because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
A pit that may have been a well at some point, I don't know.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
You made the motion and I'll figure it out for you.
You're free to go, and you can get in contact with me to get information to the members and reschedule.
Okay, yeah, just, I'm gonna contact the homeowners
Okay.
now and make sure that they do a well inspection, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, next item on the agenda, 601 Butter Lane, a setback variance request. Do we have someone here this evening? Yeah.
Yes, the applicants are in attendance.
If you could just state your name and
Yeah.
address for the record.
Yeah, I'm Michael Valentine, this is my wife Courtney Valentine, and we live at 601 Butter Lane. Yeah, we're requesting a variance for our front left side yard that's facing Mayor Street, 12-foot variance out of a 30-foot setback. At the time, I didn't think anything of it when we did the permit, and I didn't really know, because I thought it was going to be enough space and not be a problem. But then when I heard back that it got denied, and I talked to Jason about the whole thing, he was telling me that actually our side yard that I thought it was actually a front yard, and that there's a 30-foot setback that comes actually right up to our house, or like an inch away from our house. So, and the main thing of why we actually really want to do it is we kind of just want like a space, to be outside. We really just want somewhere to have our friends and family over, try to just, enjoy the weather, not this weather, but like enjoy the weather outside and kind of just have cookouts and things like that. We're not trying to do anything crazy, this is just a concrete slab. Ground level, we're not building any structure vertically, we're not trying to build a deck, we're not trying to do anything like that. We're just trying to keep something ground level. We have a fence that you can see. This is a very rough mock-up that I tried to put together just to show what it would kind of be like. And the other fence that's about 4 feet high, that's about 18 feet back would be where the patio would start. That fence has been there for almost 5 years now, so it would definitely obviously be behind that. And we just are trying to just create a space that we can have as our own outside and kind of build upon this house and try to make it more our own. We have 2 kids, we want to hang out outside with them, and we just want, a place to relax and have outside, which unfortunately, this property, when it was originally constructed, we don't have a backyard, so that would have been my first thing to go to, was put it into the backyard, but we don't have a backyard. All we have is to utilize is our front yard and then our other front yard. So that's why we're here. We're asking if we can please utilize just 12 feet of that one side so we can have a space for our own on that.
Okay. And it's just strictly a patio, no, like you said, no structure or anything like that?
No, just ground level.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for anyone to see it, you'd actually have to be walking next to the fence and looking over.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. And we talked to both of our neighbors. I actually just reached out to both of them and talked, and they said they're great. I love our neighbors. They're really kind. They're really nice. We help each other out when we can, and they really didn't seem to care at all if we put something in there.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
You're removing some shrubbery to get to here, or are you thinking of
Yeah, we have
putting it on the
landscaping
other side, or?
The landscaping comes out about 10 feet now, well, maybe even 11 feet now.
Yeah.
It's pretty close, so we'd be taking out all of those to put this in.
Okay, are you thinking of moving something then on the other side of the?
Nothing like what we have right now. What we have are big azaleas, and they draw a lot of mosquitoes and things, so we're actually trying to get rid of that so that we don't have all of that, all the mosquitoes and bug problem we have right now. Because we have a small patio, very small patio out front, and we can't utilize it much because every time we sit outside, we're getting bit up, so I'm trying to take those out.
And knowing the vagaries of bugs, there are no guarantees that they won't say.
Yeah, no, of course.
I'd like to make a motion to recommend approval to the Board of Supervisors and to the Zoning Hearing Board to approve the variance.
Okay. So I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, seconded by Darren. Again, just to remind everybody, this isn't an official approval. This is just a recommendation to the zoning hearing board and Board of Supervisors that the zoning hearing board will make the official decision.
The zoning hearing board meeting is scheduled for August 13th.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay,
Thank you very
good,
much.
good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the Highland Court subdivision, a sketch plan discussion.
Hi, my name's Alex Hughes. I'm with the Crossroads Group here for the applicant, Alex Ramirez. He owns this 10-acre lot that's part of the larger old Exeter golf course subdivision that we just wanted to come in with a very informal sketch, start passing some ideas around, get your opinions on a few things. We haven't really done any design work other than just lot layout, preliminary lot layout, so some things change, but we want to get the Township Plan Commission's opinion on a couple things before we got too deep into it. Currently, the lot, this part of the property, it has a access point over here and then about 180 feet, I believe, over here of access on the road. There's also a private, it's shown on the plan here as public, but it's actually a private driveway back there, but there is a sliver of land that cuts us off. We're talking to this guy to try to obtain that piece as well, so we could potentially come off there with an additional lot. It's mostly lawn and woods right now. There's a creek that comes back here. You can see the floodplains, this hatched area that flows back through here. We got a wetland delineation. There's an existing pond here and some more wetlands back here around the creek that we would have to deal with. All this area up here was an old hole, so this is all lawn. There's woods back through here. Obviously, we would have to take into account the tree replacement like that. We had a existing, we believe it's a pump house right here for American Water and public water running through the site here. There's also public sewer that runs through back in here, gas that runs back here. So there's a lot of existing utilities on the property that we'd be tapping into. So it's all public utilities with the development.
So no septic.
No septic issues.
We've had enough of that this meeting.
Yes. Yeah, so like I said, we're showing 10 lots right now. There's an existing driveway that comes back on this section here, the flag, that goes to the water company's property. One of the things we would do is proposing a private drive or a private street coming off of here with the 2 houses on that. Then we would have 6 houses on the cul-de-sac, and then this lot down here would directly come off of the street. We have a review letter from Great Valley Consultants, a couple things in there we'd like to talk about with you guys today. The first thing that was a big point in this letter, there was a zoning hearing board decision back in 2020. I don't believe that affects us. I reviewed it today. That was for a potential restaurant at the old clubhouse. This part of the property isn't affected by that.
So just a note for everyone, those plans were officially withdrawn. They did, the owner was going to reopen the clubhouse on the property because it had been shut down for more than 18 months and it wasn't a permitted use at the time. They needed a variance. It was granted. However, No permits were ever pulled, no building was ever conducted, and the owner actually put an official withdrawal letter in and withdrew the plans. So that variance would be null and void at this point.
Palmer?
Essentially, the zoning decision was that any future development of the whole country club estates would need to go through the Board of Supervisors. At the time, we were uncertain whether or not that was applicable. As Jason said, they did officially withdraw the plan, but we did get a legal interpretation from our solicitor for the zoning hearing board. So at this point, that's why the comment was may. We weren't 100% certain at that time, but
And either way, we'd still go through the whole board process.
Right.
right. So they still need to go through the board, but this was just another extra step for the applicant.
Zoning number 5, the first couple comments are all will apply. Zoning number 5, I believe applies to the part of the flag lot that has the existing driveway. We don't have enough space to do a public road there. There's not enough width for a right of way, anything like that. So we would do a split, like a shared driveway type of deal.
Alex, did you talk to Pennsylvania American Water at all?
Not yet.
You want to reach out to them. They have 2 easements along that access drive, I'm pretty sure. This came up before. This isn't the first time that an informal sketch plan was presented. It was presented a while back, I think in 2021, spring of 2021.
Several.
Several. There
times.
might have been another one. I mean, it wasn't done by Alex's firm, but it was done by another engineering firm. And one of the issues that was brought up, and I'm not sure it's going to be an issue or not, but they do have, Pennsylvania American did present, they have plans where they have an access easement to their pump station where they can have the right of ingress and egress. So if it's going to be used for a driveway, then we recommend that they contact Pennsylvania American Water, because if it does go through a formal plan submission, that's going to be a review comment that they have prescribed rights to use that access easement.
Yep, and we wouldn't take access away.
Right, it's just something to keep in mind
Yep, we're actually.
before you start, yeah.
I was trying to show those easements, and it looks like our system has collapsed on me here, so I don't think I'll be able to do that, but not to interrupt, Alex, would you rather I put the plan back up or the review letter while you're?
Probably the plan.
Okay, we can do that.
Hit the major comments, and then we won't go back to the review letter anymore. So yeah, we would actually improve this driveway, go up to 20 feet or 24 feet, whatever, so you could pass easily if you had to, anything like that. I think the driveway standards might be 20 feet, so that's probably what we'd be looking at in this situation. The next comment would be about the Saldo. This is more a question for Joe. A water resource study, since we're doing public water, I'm not exactly sure.
I think
We're going to be meeting the stormwater requirements too. So.
if you meet, I think that it applies to the stormwater. If you have too much impervious coverage, they still want to see a study, even though it is public water. There's, in that section of the ordinance, there's exemption criteria, and one of them is the percentage of impervious coverage, something you want to look at. I'm not saying you necessarily will fall into that. Just the letter was more or less kind of an outline or a template to look at certain things that are going to be very important when they go through the official design. But our ordinance, even though it is public water, we do have criteria where exemptions are not necessarily permitted. And one of those is impervious coverage, percentage of how much they still want to see what the impact's going to be.
My question of talking about water is this pond. Is there any issues with that pond? I mean, I don't see any water coming in or water going out. I don't know how it fills.
Comes in from the road here. and
There's a what?
Outflow here. I don't believe that's the issue on this property, is this pond?
No, so this is not the pond you're speaking of, but however, it's all one parcel.
Yeah.
So there is an issue on the property, that's a few residents are getting drainage and flooding, that it does need to be corrected. So the pond isn't what you're seeing there, it is another pond on the same parcel.
I think the overall parcel is like 43 acres.
It's 43.4. So the other pond that's in question, there is a violation there, and it will need to be addressed. At this point, it sounds like the owner and the contractor are cooperative in rectifying the problem. But some residents have had some serious flooding.
Well,
So we
that-
wanna
that-
make sure that that gets corrected.
That's why I'm looking at this pond, and you're going to have more impervious coverage. Is that going
We're
to,
gonna do our own systems and hopefully not touch this, if anything, take water away from it.
They will need to provide, and maybe I'm jumping ahead in the review letter, but they'll need to provide areas that will be utilized for stormwater management as part of their development.
We didn't get that far into it with this informal sketch. Odds are we might lose a lot or two. That's put a basin in, off the cul-de-sac or something like that. But this would be like best case scenario, maxing out the property, we'd get 10 lots. But once we get into all the testing and everything else,
So while we're talking about that, I'm sorry, I reloaded the map and it came up. So you can see a few easements that we were talking about in the past for PA American right here.
Yep, so I believe this one,
Yeah.
I think is for that storm basin that's here. This, I believe, is the sewer easement.
Yep.
There is a water easement over here somewhere as well. I think it comes through here directly to that pump house.
I do want to touch on, if I could take a second, I don't mean to hijack the meeting here, Chairman, I'm sorry. If this will load into imagery, I would like to point out the pond, it's not loading, it's not showing it.
I believe there's one right here and one down.
Yeah, it's down here. Here it is, the ugly green one. So as you can see, this is all one parcel. See, it all links onto one parcel. This pond it's on the same parcel, and that's the pond in question, Jeff. So I just wanted to show you in location where it was.
okay.
And it's got an algae problem.
Well, if you got an algae problem, you probably got a bug problem as well.
There had been some air stones installed, but yeah. Anyway, just wanted to point that out.
The one behind-
That would
is that the
concern
one
me
behind
if you got
It
a
is
water
behind
problem.
Henry.
That would concern me if you got a water problem there, you're going to come up here, you got a pond sitting here, is that going to cause more problems? That's the only thing I'm questioning.
Sure.
I don't think, given the topography of the land, they're not interconnected in any way.
They're really not. It's just what links them, the only thing that links them is that it's on the same parcel. And it just needs to be, it's on the same parcel. So a violation, it does exist on the property.
And that would all be left as residual.
Yeah.
As part of this. We were just focusing on this section.
Right. It doesn't really come into play, just other than
They have to, yes.
he has to fix it, yeah.
Yep.
Do you want the map back up, Alex?
Yeah, that'd be good. Actually,
Oh.
that one actually works good for this next comment.
Okay,
So,
let's do that.
Next thing is curbs and sidewalks. Potentially, if you look at a waiver, there's no sidewalk anywhere else in this current subdivision. So for the cul-de-sac, if you guys would be in support of a waiver of curb and sidewalk, just because it matches the surrounding, or if that's something.
What we have done in the past is we recommend deferral.
Deferral, okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I think to
But I
build your.
believe, but I'm going to hold you there, Joe, because I believe, and this is just my belief, that if you don't start somewhere, sidewalks are never done.
I think the issue, and I'm not taking any sides here, is the existing development doesn't have any at all. None of the phases, it's all grass. There's not, actually, they don't even have sidewalk. So I'm not saying I disagree
My
with what
point.
you're pointing out, but,
Maybe they don't want them.
it's pluses and
Linry has them. The new, they were ground
Right.
built, but not the old
Phase
section.
5, I believe, has it. They call it Exeter Golf Club Estates Phase 5, which is the one Burke's Homes constructed. They have sidewalk
Back on the hill there.
curbing, yes.
Some higher spots.
I'll say the latter
Yeah.
part of the development, but the original development that was done by Henry Filippini, that include just swales and no sidewalk, just roadside swales and storm sewer.
Just as a note, I will fight for sidewalks.
I just want to, the reason I was going to say, and typically, we don't give out waivers because waivers will just,
Breed more.
right.
Yep.
Deferral at least allows the township in the future to exercise their right to require it, but with waivers, that could be,
Yeah,
that can be
we've done-
challenged,
we've
yeah.
done this before,
Okay.
yep.
I just wanted you to,
Yeah, no, definitely.
okay.
The next big one would be open space. On the plan, we showed a piece of open space back here where the woods are and the creek. But we kind of wanted to come in and just discuss with you guys what you're thinking for this property.
This is, just to give a history, this is very complicated. This has 6 phases, if I recall. And a lot of the issues, a lot of came up about the golf course, whether that was considered open space. And I believe the township did a lot of research over the years and discovered really the golf course is part of open space, whether or not it met or exceeded what was required. There's a lot of open space area. One of the comments I had, there's actually 2 things. One, they'll be required when they subdivide this to provide some type of open space area or fee in lieu of. Second is this part of open area, and I think that's what it was called when this was approved, that is being taken away and developed, whether or not the entire subdivision still complies with that open air requirement. It could. I'm not going to say it's not, but I think it's something that we probably just want to make sure of moving forward, because the history of this was the applicant or the previous person came back and was trying to dedicate this to the township for recreational space. This was years ago. And then the Board of Supervisors at that time denied that request. And then we've had several informal sketches of, similar to what we're looking at this evening, that were presented to the Township Planning Commission where nothing has been, it was just informal discussion. So that's kind of where that comment, and then to top it off, we also have a requirement in our ordinance that is open space or fee in lieu of that you can pay instead. So it's kind of two issues.
So on the annexation plan we have from 2019 by Filippini, it does call out this whole tract as Lot 1 for a single-family
Okay.
residence.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't call it out as.
I was able to research that
Okay.
last minute and see that also.
So
Okay.
that's the latest information we have,
Okay.
is that is meant for single-family homes. That was the use that was on that plan.
I think when you submit the plans officially, just, make those notes and
Yep.
so forth.
And,
I
you know,
did see that.
Like I said, I don't think it's going to be an issue because I think that golf course was never really considered to be, I don't think you're right, because it was developed, it was used to be an 18, and then it went down to a 9, and then it went down to nothing, and there's still open area, they called it open area back then, that's how the ordinance, I think, was felt, now it's open space, so, yeah, that's,
We're willing to work with you on
Okay.
laying out what you guys want for open space. It sounds like you already.
and that's something, that might be already satisfied with what's already existing, it just might need to be put on a plan and then recorded so that we know moving forward, yeah.
Okay.
So we don't define what that means?
There's so much percentage has to be open space area, green space, just doesn't have to necessarily be recreational. Then there's also some that needs to be recreational, that's what you pay the fee in lieu of
Right.
for recreation. Not to confuse everybody, but in this situation, it's part of an overall subdivision, whether or not they can utilize the existing open space area to meet that requirement. Since that was a lot number 1, they're essentially just taking that lot and re-subdividing it and developing it. They may have that open space satisfied somewhere else in that development. That's something that we're going to need to work with them on, because this has gone through so many iterations and annexations, and to be honest with you, it's very
Very complicated.
very complicated, and unfortunately, some of it predated my involvement, and some of it involved us in the latter part. We just want to make sure we're covered, that we still maintain that open space area. Green, I'll call it green space for lack of a better. They're still going to need to provide either recreational or pay that fee in lieu of as well.
Yeah, I'd actually love to see getting rid of the pay for that, like thinking of my children's future. Like, I want to make sure we protect as much open green space as possible, I'd love to see more protections in place, more definitions and control of that in the future.
With, so the fact that that was Lot 1, which is new information that I didn't have before myself, just speaking for myself, I think part of understanding the full picture, because as Joe said, this has been through so many iterations over the years, we also need to confirm that there's no notes on any plans anywhere that says further subdivision of any lots is, that there's no.
Correct.
Part of this, yeah,
On that.
part of the one stipulation that the zoning hearing board placed on the entire parcel was that they granted their variance to reopen the restaurant, but no further subdivision of the property was allowed. Now, like, this is what Joe had touched on. I checked with our solicitor, our zoning hearing board solicitor, and I said, well, you know, there was a variance granted, but, you know, and it says no further subdivision was allowed. So does that stand that they never went through with the plan and they officially withdrew the plans? And his feeling is that that no further subdivision went away when they withdrew the plans.
But was that stated as a variance, or was
It
that
was stated as a stipulation to the property, when the variance was granted.
So the variance was granted?
It was granted, and it was granted, one of the conditions on the variance was that no further subdivision of the property. But now,
So the
to
variance-
complicate things even a little bit more,
the
you
variance
mentioned
is
that
still
this
in
was
effect.
already subdivided off as Lot 1.
Yeah, I was gonna say, was that the entire property or just the property that the
Well, it gave
the clubhouse was on?
Well, see, it's all one. Even this parcel is part of the same, it gets very, very, very
Yeah,
complicated.
there's four separate chunks that are all kind of combined as one.
It is. It gets very complicated, and it would have to be figured out.
So the clubhouse is part of
Yes.
this property?
Yes,
It
the
all has
club,
the
the
same-
clubhouse is part of the property, and my understanding is when the findings of the fact was presented by the zoning hearing board, they granted that use to continue since it, as Jason said, the use, once it's not there for 18 months, yep, and then there's the future of
So
the,
this is the 2019 Philippine plan. If you look at these four highlighted areas, there are four pieces. Down here somewhere, that was a note about lot one.
It does, it calls it out, but I think it calls it out as one single-family detached home.
So yeah, the proposed use for lot one is a single-family home. And then I just saw up here, there's a, oh, sorry. There's a restrictive note up here that says anything that was left as a residue can't be further divided, but anything that was considered a tract may come back through, I believe is how it reads, this restriction note here.
Joe, you'll review that.
yes, we're going to have to dig up our files. It is a complicated
It is.
situation.
So the question I have with this, with the clubhouse being part of this parcel,
We're on this.
If you can look
And
at
it's-
This piece.
highlight out.
yeah, it's not shown on the sketch plan, but what is the intent? That becomes a separate lot now? That becomes a separate parcel, I would assume. The clubhouse,
The clubhouse,
that,
right now, we'd leave it all as a residue and just take off this 10-acre piece and make that 10 new lots. But we'd have to look at how it was previously. Looking at this, if it was meant to be residue before as like an open space kind of thing, I think we just leave it that way and just break this lot one up further. But that's something we could work through. I mean, if you wanted to break it up and Alex wanted to break it up, we could look at that too.
I mean, I think the restaurant's just going to remain as an unoccupied parcel, and it's going to be non-conforming. So whoever comes back again to try to develop that parcel is going to have to go through a zoning hearing board variance if they want to operate a commercial business
that would have to be.
or a restaurant.
Joe, correct me if I'm wrong, with this new proposed, just now as a sketch plan,
Well,
that would have to be shown as residue to this plan then, because you're subdividing the parcel.
right, but if lot number one was recorded, I'm going to have to double check that because I didn't realize that was a lot. I thought that was open space prior to that. need to check that to make sure that's the case, because it's a separate lot, and now they're taking that lot and subdividing it further. We already had something similar that was approved where I believe it was, and don't quote me on this, might have been on another lot, and they divided it into 2 or 3 lots. This was years ago, probably back in early 2000.
So this is more than 10 years ago this lot was made?
Oh, yes.
Because that meets the 10-year rule for
Yes.
redoing it?
Yes, it was probably when that part was developed by, I believe it was by Grande. That was the 9-hole section. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's when it was done. Because that, as Alex said, that was a hole back there, and actually the access easement was the cart path, I believe. And then PA American, they put their pump station. They had plans developed by Cruiser. Yeah, it was a contractor, I believe they did the plans, I believe it was prepared by them, that shows that easement. I'm not sure when that was recorded, but I could probably find out. I can get those, I probably either have those plans, or if not, I can get them through Pennsylvania American.
A lot of issues with this.
Go ahead and continue.
Let's see, so that was the open space. Like I said before, we're looking at getting this little sliver of land, you can see kind of behind the address thing. It blocks off this leg, this little tiny sliver here, blocks off this leg from access to this private drive here. So whether or not we can get a lot up here or not will kind of depend on if we can get access or buy that piece of land up there.
What does the yellow indicate? Do you know, Jason?
That's a floodplain.
Yeah, it's floodplain.
So there's a creek, the creek is between these two darker lines that kind of sorts its way through.
Yep.
Just one comment on that upper lot, that
Yep.
other lot.
Yep.
Just take note, because we had done something with that a while back. When I say a while, I'm gonna say probably more than 5 years ago.
With the top piece there,
Yeah, but it wasn't, it was, somebody else was doing something there. Just take caution as you're looking at that, about the number of driveways that come off of that private lane presently, because we allow no more than 3 driveways
Correct,
off
that's
of a
correct.
private lane. So as you're thinking about that, you'll want to do your research.
That's what I was looking at with the driveway,
Yeah.
meeting that ordinance requirement, you're only allowed so many residential.
So not knowing exactly how many driveways exist off of that presently.
So you can have 15 off of a cul-de-sac and 3 off of a private.
let's see. I believe the next couple, if you want to go back to the plan
Sure.
itself, there's a couple saldo requirements that we've done our best.
Do you
to
want the
try to-
plan or the
No, the
review?
plan here's good. So we've done our best to try to meet the requirements for, like width to depth ratio on the lot, or lot lines coming in at a slight angle. We try to meet 90 degrees as much as possible, but given the irregular shape of the lot we're working with, we're probably gonna require some waivers of those sections. I just wanted to bring that up, see if you guys would be willing to work with us on those waivers.
What would again, just kind of going over what you feel the waivers would be?
Some of them would be for like width to depth. Certain lots are like, this one here is super long, narrow, stuff like that. I believe a couple of these parcel lines don't intersect at exactly 90 degrees around this bend here. And we could still work with the geometry a little bit. As we said, this is very conforming.
We have some provisions that the township tries to stay away from, I'll say irregular type size. They like to have 90-degree angles and so forth. Not that we haven't allowed it in the past, but the lot to width depth ratio is a requirement. These would be waivers and not variance from the zoning hearing board.
Yep.
Unless it's an area and so forth
Yeah,
requirement.
and all of our lots are well
Dimensional.
above 12,000 square feet. I think the smallest one is this one here, but that's actually the most uniform out of all of them. And it comes right off the road, there's no cul-de-sac or anything for that one, so the rest of them obviously are irregular shaped. And it's just given what we're working with. I want to bring it up, make sure there's no major issues with that at this point.
I mean, I think we'd have to understand it maybe a little bit better once,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's mainly stuff like this. This lot's super long. So you're dealing with a lot that's, I believe this one's over an acre. I think the requirement's 12,000 square feet for this zoning district, so.
And that's the one that would be off of a private lane.
Yeah, it would be these two lots here.
Yeah.
Coming off this lane for the. I believe those are the main things in the letter I wanted to touch on. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me or if Joe wants to bring anything else up.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing I'll add is, when you look at the letter, a lot of these are standard comments and so forth that I just wanted them to be aware, and the planning commission to be aware that may be some issues, but once they get into the design, a lot of these can be addressed or information provided. And some may or may not be issues, but I wanted to bring it to their attention since this is really for informal discussions this evening. I don't have anything else to add that I already have noted in my review letter.
Do we have anybody in the public that would like to speak? Sure. If you could come up and just to the podium there and give us your name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, it's Bill Walzeski, 70 Leonard Avenue. So I live behind that avocado-looking colored pond that was shown up on that screen.
Okay.
And over the years, I've had a couple of issues, actually numerous issues of drainage and flooding within the last 2 weeks. I had 2.5 foot of water in my basement. So there's no drainage going where this thing's actually supposed to be going on the other side of the pond, eroding behind my house, getting worse and worse and worse. And now within like an inch or two of rain, I'm having to get pumps out behind my house to try to make sure it's staying away from the basement. You know, 3 inches is pretty much a goner. I've got water in, and last time, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 inches, 2 foot of water, I had 3 foot outside. Completely ruined my finished basement. So I just want to make sure when we're thinking about the initial planning future state of whatever happens here, that actually gets resolved, fixing whatever drainage issues they got, because it's not draining at all, except behind my house.
Whose pond is that?
So it's the owner of the properties. I will tell you that it is split. The pond is actually split about 70-30 between two different owners. 70%, well, you can actually see it on the cutout. It's actually not quite 70-30, I guess. That's the figures I was given, but it doesn't, this could be skewed a little bit. But the pond is split between two owners, the majority of being the owner of the large property.
Does the pond have an outlet structure?
It does, and it's compromised. It's
Okay.
clogged and compromised from what the township could, during an inspection. What we observed was there's an emergency spillway, kind of, my mouse isn't cooperating, right around, somewhere in this area here where you can see my cursor. There's an emergency spillway there that's compromised. And then there's another spillway over here with a pipe that is also compromised. So the township's been working with the owner and the contractor to come up with a plan to fix Mr., and I'm sorry, what?
Walzeski.
Fix Mr. Walzeski's problems, because he's not the only one in the area that has a problem.
Right.
And a quick backstory on the pond is, this pond was used to irrigate the golf course. So every day it was being pumped out of, it was much lower, in its banks, and a rain, even a heavy rain, didn't really affect it that very much. But now it's not getting used, it's not getting drained out, and it's much higher, especially with the clogged pipes and whatnot that we're dealing with. So a small rain gets it to Spill's banks and floods out residents' basements.
So how long you been working with the contractor?
We started, seriously, we've been working with him for about a week or two now. This did come up last year. Township was informed some work was done. Lo and behold, we get another flood and it happened again. So we're gonna go after, we're not go after him, we're gonna work with him for a much deeper plan here, a much more in-depth plan of, lowering this pond and fixing the spillways.
And I would just caution with saying there's work that's been done. Cutting a pipe lower at the highest part of the pond isn't doing shit. So, if you're at the lowest part, which is over on my side, it just keeps going over. I've got more water going down my toilet than through that pipe.
Okay, so there's infrastructure in place, but it is not functioning properly at this time.
It's
and
not
needs
functioning.
work.
It sounds like the pond's not functioning at all, and like Jason said, if it wasn't being used anymore, it's probably silting up and it's losing its volume, and like.
Spills its banks very easily.
Easily, yes.
Like that.
Yeah.
You got mosquitoes in your
Alright.
backyard, you got,
It's not a fun time in the summer.
is it the first time it's flooded?
No.
All the rain we've had?
No.
No.
And he happened a year back, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, so 2023 was the first time.
I think it was during
This
that
year
heavy.
was- This year was way worse. It looked like an aquarium outside of that door. It was 3.5 high outside.
That's in the notes.
2.5 foot inside. I mean, it's basically a total loss.
So the topography there, does everything run down to that pond?
It runs right behind there, everything goes down.
Okay.
There's a lot that runs into it.
Like, if that pond went, I could care less. Like, it's a cesspool, so nobody can say, like, I wanna see a nice pretty pond out of it.
I'm just wondering what fills the pond.
Is there a spring there?
There almost has to be.
Right.
I think it's.
I would assume,
There has to
yeah.
be. Because it's not draining, it's not dissipating, so there has to be some sort of natural feed there.
That's what I'm wondering.
But in any case,
That pond may have existed back to when there was a farm there even.
Right.
'Cause
Yeah, I
there's
don't
no
know.
farmhouses are up on Shelbourne Road.
well, you can still see some foundations down below, yeah, so I can't talk of the origins of when it was created, I know what it was used for when it was a golf course, and like I said, at the end of the day, the owner is, so far, right now, I will say, cooperating and making some changes.
Well, you have our support, just to let you know.
Thank you for
Thank you,
your
Bill.
comments. Yep. Anybody else? Yes.
Good evening. Tom Pizzano, 66 Linley. I live next door to Bill. I don't want to repeat everything he said, just a couple of other issues. Fortunately, I haven't gotten any water in my house yet, but when it does overflow, it compromises a common drain that his house and my house share. It's part of the easement. And my sump pumps go into that drain. So once it gets overflowed, my sump pumps have nowhere to pump, and I'm likely to flood, maybe the next time or the time after. I've lived there since 2018, so I'm familiar with the flooding beforehand. And before Bill moved in, I know it flooded the previous resident at least 3 times.
Wow.
My other concern is that the current owner was given a violation at least a year ago. Jason can give you the exact date, I guess.
Yeah, he was put on notice, he was notified,
All right,
that there was a problem.
I don't know if it was a violation, but put
Yeah.
on notice. But they have done nothing. And I'm concerned that unless their feet are held to the fire and something official is done, that they won't do anything else. They'll get their approvals, they'll build their houses, and we'll still get flooded.
You have my word,
I'm asking that the town not grant them any approvals until the flooding is fixed satisfactorily. One last thing, they claim that a neighbor owns 30% of the pond. That would be, I believe it's 78, and the emergency spillway is not on his property. Both spillways are on, whatever it's called, is on their property. He might own a piece of the water, but he doesn't have anything to do with the maintenance of the property. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything from staff, anything more to?
No, there's a lot that goes into it, and I think there's a lot that, still needs to be researched, but
Any other questions from planning commission members at this point, or comments?
Well, just that I'm going to issue, my concern with him on the property, on this pond fix, I mean, he's asking us not to approve anything until this is fixed. And
It needs to be fixed.
you're talking
Yeah,
2.5
yeah.
feet of water. I mean, I remember when I was a kid and we had water in our basement, it took years to correct it. All right, so I know Jason's working with them, but I agree with him. Let's hold somebody's feet to the fire and get this thing moving so these guys don't have that
Our hopes
again.
are, the way it looks, is that this fix is gonna be done long before this plan would be at final stage.
Okay.
That's our goal. We
Okay.
don't wanna let it go that long.
Right. What I would say is, having knowledge of the fact that there is a documented issue with the township, as Jason said,
Yep.
working to resolve it, but certainly part of any plan moving forward would be making sure that the stormwater is managed properly. The township engineer will be reviewing that and any existing conditions that.
It sounds like the pond has to be corrected and addressed.
Yep. Okay. Anything further from the,
That, I think that's it for me.
oh, okay,
We got some good feedback, so we'll take it into account.
okay,
Go further.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
That reaches the end of our agenda. Anything further from planning commission members?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes, the Joint Comprehensive Plan we've been given the final draft from Berks County Planning Commission. So we'll be getting that. Anybody who wants a hard copy, please let me know. Otherwise, Jason is going to try and put a editable on the share site. So everybody wants to read it, they can go in and read it, and they can edit it, and it'll follow everybody's edit. So we got to work on getting that done, but that's the way we want to handle it for us.
Version they sent us isn't editable, so we gotta make that happen.
Anyone else? Anything further from the township engineer?
No, I don't have anything else to report on.
Jason, you good?
Not too much at the moment, no, I don't really have anything else this evening.
Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Les,
Second?
second by Mitch. Meeting adjourned.